right? Which we all know. Like, what is the golden phase? Prevention is better than cure, right? I hope all are agree with me. Prevention is better than cure. So like that is what we are going to discuss for next 2 days, including today, like 3 days. So like, what are the preventive measures someone should take care? So in the first session, Murthy sir has covered, like, if some profile is a profile hack happened, or stalking, bullying, and all such kind of things. Those things, to avoid such kind of things, prevention is always better than prevention is always better than cure, right? We all know, like, we are facing that COVID issues. So like, we are taking the necessary steps to safeguard ourselves from that COVID-19, right? Like sanitizing, wearing a mask, etc., etc., kind of thing, right? In the same way, when we are when we are doing something in the internet, in the cyber space, or in the internet world, like, we have to take some of the preventive measures, so that you will be safe, and at the same time, your entire organization, as well as your entire family, is in a safe mode. That is what we are going to discuss, right? So prevention is a better than fraud. I hope all are agree with you. Prevention is better than a security breach. So sir was also discussing, like, lot of data is stored on any of your computers, right? Like, all our employee data is available in one of the HRMS platforms. So ensure that server should be secured enough. And by any chance, if the server was got hacked, what will happen? Entire data breach happens, and the data also will be available in somewhere XYZ places. And I think in the electronic media also, these words, like, we all will be listening, like, what is a security security breach, and all such kind of things. Security breach is nothing but, like, what is the kind of hardware infrastructure which is established in your organization, so that entire hardware is secure, should be secured, so that we can avoid this kind of data, or security breaches kind of thing. Prevention is better than data loss, right? So that is what which is very, very important. Prevention is better than data loss. So like, what are the data? What do you mean by data? Data, it could be anything. Like, it could be your complete name, your email address, or Aadhaar, or whatever it is. All those things should be secured enough, so that, like, we will be safe in this cyberspace. So at the end of the session, you will be able to understand what is the concept and importance of the following, like, what is the desktop browser email security, and email spoofing kind of thing. So why do we secure our desktop? Can anyone mention, like, why do we secure your desktop? Just a few responses in the chat area. Why do we secure your desktop? Can anyone specify, like, why do we secure your desktop? Or like, why do you secure your mobile? Can I see some responses? All right, privacy, in order to prevent. Very good, very good. Else can take control on it. Stop data breach. Excellent, excellent. Safeguard wealth. Oh, very good. Very good. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you so much, sir and mom. Exactly, that is what. So your desktop should be secured enough, because of these reasons. A personal computer. Thank you, mom and sir, for your wonderful response in the chat area. Right, a personal computer used without a proper security measures would lead to an exploiting the system for illegal activities, using the resources of such unsecured computers. That is what it happens. Results may add data theft, data loss, or personal information disclosure, stealing of credentials like password, etc. Like, we were talking both the things. Like, as sir was discussed in the morning, you will be having an official life as well as a personal life. So like, we are clubbing, when it comes to the data, like, all these things, it matters a lot for you. Data theft, like data loss, personal information disclosure, stealing of credentials, password. When it will happen? If your desktop is not secure. Okay. And one more thing, access to another person. Excellent. Protecting and securing the personal computer before it is compromised. Before it is compromised. So like, as I told you, like, we are going to discuss on the preventive measures, various preventive measures to secure yourself, your organization, from the various cyber frauds kind of thing. So I hope you got my point. Why do you secure desktop? So the desktop should be secured, to performing on illegal activities on your behalf. See, For example, by chance, any of your system has gone into the hands of the cyber fraudsters. What they will do? Simply they will send a message. Like you will be having a lot of messages, group messages, and all the things. And if an organization mail ID is there, you'll just send a simply a message. So please click here to update your information, or please click here to whether you want to have a holiday or not on 31st of August, right? So someone can send it. We don't know like what is there in the link. That is what we were talking about. That is what we are all talking about, right? So that is why like we have to secure your desktop to safeguard exploitation of the system for illegal activities kind of thing, and secure your data in various forms, and protecting and secure your personal computer before it is compromised, right? So that is why we have to secure your secure your desktop. Right, we were talking about installation, but I'm not going to show it to the installation, because like Windows, like you all can do when it comes to nowadays, like it is coming with the directly installed kind of thing, or like your CISO will help you out in installing kind of thing. The only key point which we wanted to tell you, whether it is an institution, organization, or an individual, installation of licensed operating system and application is very essential, right? So we are talking about licensed operating system, which is a purchased operating system, from the directly from the vendor, not from the XYZ shops kind of thing, right? So purchase original operating system anywhere, well, like whether it could be online or offline kind of. Don't use the pirated operating system. There are so many issues, right? And read the terms and conditions or license agreement before the installation of the software, so that if you can do, there are when you're trying to install the any operating system, it will ask you like whether you wanted to do a customization complete or whatever it is, that kind of options you will be getting. So like there you can take a call, like whether you wanted to install the complete operating system what they have given or what they have suggested, or like you wanted to customize the operating system and install only these 1 2 3 components. So such kind of options you will be having. For that, like you have to read the terms and condition, so that you will have a clarity, like what kind of information or what kind of settings they're going to take control from us, right? Those kind of details you will be understanding when you read these terms of conditions, etc., right? And also look what is being installed on your operating system. It is not an not only an operating system. Along with the operating system, like we already discussed, like what is an operating system. I will discuss once again like what I mean by operating system. They will be installing the motherboard drivers, monitor drivers, audio video network, and any other softwares also. So these are the basic softwares which should be installed properly, so that like all the connected device will work properly in coordination with your operating system. Otherwise, if these drivers are not installed properly, there are chances that some of the devices like which are attached to your desktop or laptop may or may not work properly. To work properly, you have to ensure that all these software, all these drivers are installed properly, right? So this is a very important aspect. Basic input and output system settings. Like what I mean by BIOS, we all know like when we are installing the thing by default, like the BIOS is a a small piece of software which is used to connect your devices, to connect like what were the devices which we have talked about, like your monitor, keyboard, display, adapter, and all such kind of things, to your operating system, right? BIOS is a bridge to connect all your keyboard, mouse, sound card, and all the things with your operating system, right? Please try to understand. It is a basic software, so which will give you or support you, to connect all your devices, like what we have devised, what we discussed in the earlier. So those things we can connect it to the connect it to your operating system properly. It is also give you another layer of our first level protection to your system, right? We also can set a BIOS password, right? We also can set a set a password for our BIOS, like basic input output settings, right? What it will happen, so when the system is booting up, right? For example, the moment you switch on the power, immediately it will go to either Linux, if at all if you are using Linux operating system kind of thing, it will directly go. If at all if you are using the Windows, it directly will go to your complete operating system will boot up and it will go to your desktop directly. If you keep a password, then it will ask the password, you will be supplying that password to log on to your system. But to that is the process. But if you set a password at first level, like which is at BIOS level, so it will stop you there itself. Your system also, it won't boot up, right? The basic boot up will happen by using that BIOS, and there it will ask you a password. And if you if you set that password, and if the password will be validated, authenticated, then then your Windows will boot up, right? So this also will give you another layer of protection to your respective systems, so which is very very essential. I think many of the organizations, they will, if at all if they are having some important data and important information, they will ensure you that they will set this kind of password at BIOS level and Windows level. So that is what, like in the previous session, sir was talking about, multi-factor authentication kind of thing. Like it is not exactly multi-factor authentication, but it is, a second level security. So first level is BIOS and second level is Windows authentication kind of thing. Computers, that is a program run when computer is starting. That is what I just mentioned to you. It gives, complete protection to you. What is a BIOS? Just now we discussed on that. Like what is a BIOS? Can anyone answer this? Can anyone answer? Input output systems. Right. Which is the option? 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am. Like what is an operating system? Operating system is a set of programs, which is used to run your computer, to work on your computer kind of thing. Thank you, sir and ma'am, for your responses in the chat area. Is an important program that runs on the computer. So as I told you, so which is used, this operating system is used responsible to secure system and not allowing the unauthorized users to access your system resources, right? So which is very very essential. So first level security to your system is BIOS, and second level security to your entire resources, including your operating system, application, whatever it is there on your computer. So for all those things, this operating system is essential. So once if you have a proper authenticated or legitimate operating system, which will give you a protection, like what are the kind of data which you are storing on your desktop or laptop kind of thing, so it will protect your whole entire resources as well as your data also. Can anyone guess, like what is the, like you have a lot many operating systems, like you have Windows, Linux, Android, Mac and all. So in this, like what is not, all right, all right. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am. So enable auto updates for your system and update it on regularly, right? Which is very, very essential. So these are the security measures. The earlier things like if it is your personal system, most of the time you will be doing, and if it is the organizational system, organizations will support you in installing and using and patch management and all such kind of things. But at the same time, you also should ensure, so these security measures should be taken at your desktop level. Enable auto updates for your operating system and update it on regularly. So it is your basic thing, like whenever you are getting a notifications saying like these are these are the available updates for your system, so it is our responsibility to check like whether whether those updates are genuine or not. If it is genuine, and you can install that, so that you can safeguard your entire desktop as well as your valuable data. Strong password should be used. Admin account on a computer and others important applications like email, client, financial application and all the things, like not these systems are used not only by the end users like employees. These systems are also used, whole lot of entire organization, like you will be having a lot of departments like HR, finance, admin and all such kind of things. So those people are also connecting to the same network. So you have to ensure like you have maximum security to your system by enabling whenever you are getting these operating system updates and all such kind of things. So it is your minimum responsibility to update all the things. And like what are the data which you are having, on your system, like important data, like where if it is an organization, it is it is essential to take the backup on regular intervals so that you can secure, and you can, by chance if anything went wrong, so immediately you can secure, you can restore those things to, without affecting the organization, without affecting the downtime kind of thing. These backups are always essential. So this will help you to restore your services within no time kind of thing. And recovery disks, nowadays these recovery disks are coming up with the systems, so which are supplied by the manufacturer or vendor of your computer system to recover the operating system in the event of sometimes the either it is boot failures due to the system changes, such as certifications, driver, unknown software publishers kind of thing. So there are chances, some of the softwares, when you are installing any third party softwares, so there are chances that it may, if those programs are written, wanted if those programs are written to do some changes at BIOS level and operating system level, so there are always chances that if that software is not developed fully, then there are chances that the basic operating system also will fail. During that point of time, so these recovery disks will help you to recover your operating system and some of the data kind of thing. So these things, it will help you out. And startup program should be monitored and controlled to optimize system performance. So for example, whenever you are installing any applications on your respective laptop or desktop kind of thing, so every program will automatically, if the program is written like that, like it while system is booting up, these programs also will automatically start up, and it will it will take lot of time to boot up your entire system. So like you should ensure that you should be choosy, like what programs should start along with the operating system, so that there are two things can happen. One is the boot up will fast up, and all unnecessary programs also shouldn't be boot up along with your operating system. So you have to ensure like what programs should be uh, enabled or started working along with the with your operating system. Or always, most of the programs will ask like along with your operating system, these programs also will boot up. So it will affect on the system, it will affect on the system's performance also. So you have to be choosy, and you should regularly monitor whether this program should go along with the operating system or not. Okay, so that is your our responsibility as an end user, and you have to ensure that these kind of things should be followed. So password represents the identity of an individual for an account, right? For example, if the same system is used, so most of the times in most of the organizations, so the admin password won't be available to most of the end users. So they will be creating users, and users will be allocated with some kind of password, right? So admin password won't be available, so that like you won't be getting the entire privileges of the system, right? So the password is, when the system is allocated, or some kind of resources are allocated within the network, so setting the password is very very essential. And the password is also helpful to authenticate whether the same person is logging onto the system or not, right? So that is very very important, and keeping the password is very very important, which is already discussed in the previous session, right? So once the system is ready with operating system and all such kind of things, and when you are using the system, so these are the some of the settings where you can find out, like on your mobile phone. So allow access to the location on this device. So these things by default, like it will be enabled. How do we go? Like you can go to the control. You can go to the home of these activity in the control panel, and there you will be having some of the settings. In the settings, you can just see like whether the location you wanted to switch on the location or not, right? So most of them, and preferably for your laptops and desktops, and if you disable this location, it will be, you can safeguard your privacy. Otherwise, people can always see like other way where this guy or where this system is used, right? So if you disable these thing, it will protect also your privacy in the cyberspace, right? And as I told you, like the Windows update is very, very essential. So these are the kind of options you will be getting when the Windows update is there. If you want to restart, when the updates are available, if you want to restart your system, you can restart, or you can, schedule that restart after, a few hours or few days or weekend, whenever you want to do that, you can just do that. But ensure like the window, your system should be updated on regular intervals, right? If the system is not updated at regular intervals, and if you don't have any good antivirus on your respective systems, besides if it is a Windows system, so the Windows Bitdefender will come along with your operating system, and ensure that that is also should be updated at regular intervals. And if you are not using that Windows thing, and if you are using any other operating systems, ensure that, so you should have good antivirus on your respective system. Anyone can join if no password is set, and if go to the access code kind of thing, right? So we told you, like for example, uh, Gopi sir is there. Sir is there. So if he is not set a password, I also can log on to his system, and I can do any activity on his system. But if you set a password, then only that respective person only can log in and can make use of that system resources, right? Setting user passwords is very, very essential. Otherwise, somebody may use for various purposes kind of thing. Malicious links may be sent in the chart to extract some kind of information, right? As I told you, like if you are not set a password, there are chances that if other people can make use of it, can send this kind of information to extract some kind of information from the other colleagues in the organization or other members in the family kind of thing. Data shared using the third parties might be used to obtain the information. Data shared using the third parties might be used to obtain the information, right? So as you told, like using third parties might be used to obtain the information. So whenever you are installing any third party softwares, we have to ensure like some of the things, like who is the developer, whether the same kind of software, can we use it on our system or not. If at all, if you are individually are using, then you have to be careful about all these things. Otherwise, if you are in an organization, the organization will keep all these policies, and they also won't give you the privileges also to install to install these softwares on your system, and download and install these kind of softwares, right? As per the organization policy, they may or they may not allow. But whenever you are installing any third party applications or softwares, there are always chances that some kind of information, some basic information, it is always goes from our end. Regularly update for the patches, right? As we told you, see for example, in this entire in this entire cyberspace, no software is completely 100% is foolproof, right? All the applications, or all the what are the operating system applications, and all the things, somewhere or other, in spite of doing a rigorous testing, there are always chances that always chances that for vulnerabilities. If those vulnerabilities are not covered, vulnerabilities are nothing but, in a simple language, some of the problems, right? So if you're not immune enough, there are always chances that we will be infected. If someone have a cough and cold, immediately it may infect. But in the same way, and if the system has not patched up properly, if not updated properly with the patches kind of thing, there are always chances that other people can make use of, or can enter into your data. Okay, so regularly update these patches is nothing but some of the gaps, in a simple word, it is a gaps. If the gaps are not filled properly, there are always chances that system can become vulnerable. With your system, the fraudsters or hacker can enter enter into the entire network, right? So one system, if the one system is not properly protected, the entire network or entire entire organization systems may get into the problems, right? So that is only the reason at individual, that security should start at individual to ensure that organization or entire family to be safe in this cyber world, right? That is the reason, like, we are keep on talking again and again on these updates as well as patches. Some of the guidelines one should take care physically to secure your system. So regularly clean your system and its components, whatever it is using. And if it is not using, ensure that, like, when you are cleaning keyboard and all the things, the system should be properly shut down, and properly organize the power cables, wires, etc. And while working on the PC, careful not to spill over any food or water onto the thing. Always follow safely remove option from the operating system while disconnecting the USBs kind of thing. For example, you have connected one USB for data transfer kind of thing. So ensure that before you take out. We will. I'll cover Amitji, that how to find out that links, suspicious links kind of thing, right? So ensure that, like, you have to before you remove the device, first you have to you can right click on that and properly exit. There will be an option called exit, or a safe removal kind of options. So as I told you, BIOS password is important to prevent unauthorized access to your system resources, or to your system system resources. Switch off the computer when not in use. So to set up the BIOS password, refer setting BIOS, like, for example, if you want to set a BIOS password, so when the system is booting up, either you can use F9 or F11. So based on that vendor settings of that device, so it will work either F9 or F11. But if you are good enough, then you can try. Otherwise, take the support from your system administrators to set such kind of password. So, like, a basic internet security. So, as we told, try to follow that basic ethics while browsing or chatting with others kind of thing. Check the copyright issues before you using the content of the internet. So for example, if I'm using this like, what are the content I'm using, so I have to authenticate, like, if it is my content or my organization content, I can use it. And if the content is taken from XYZ websites kind of thing, so ensure, like, we have to acknowledge them properly. So that copyright policies we should follow. Ensure that, like, whenever you are accessing. Sir, internet ethics is nothing but, for example, whenever you are accessing, or whenever you are chatting with a person, whenever you are chatting with a person, you know, so you should use a proper language, not a foul language. If that other person is using that foul language, so it is our responsibility to stop that, stop that person, and block that person, right? So since he started using, and we also should not use the foul language, right? Ethically we should use, like, whatever you are using the resources. So for example, when you are an organization, so we should use that internet ethically. So in the organization, the internet is provided to do the organizational things, right? So you are given a responsibility, to ensure that data should be secured, or, like, you have to safeguard this piece of code on your system, on your system securely, right? So that, like, when you are accessing some other website kind of thing, and some pop-ups are come, so because of that, something will be downloaded, and entire that chances that the system can become a infected with some kind of viruses or malware kind of thing. So if at all, if you are not browsing that, so the chances are very less. So when the internet is given for official purposes and official usages only, so we have to use the internet only for that purposes. And if at all, if you are doing some other activity because of that, because of that reason, it may lead to some other issues. Yeah, that SSL and all, like, we'll be covering tomorrow, sir, right? don't worry. So if the site uses SSL and a secured socket layer, so which will ensure you, you will be having a lock symbol kind of thing when you are browsing. Earlier, the lock symbol is in the bottom in the status bar, but nowadays in the URL itself, you can find out, that HTTP, SSL certificate, and what are this lock symbol which we are showing. All these things you can see it, left side of your URL itself. What is SSL? Like tomorrow we are going to discuss. We kept that exclusively, a few slides for that SSL, right? Use only the original websites, downloading the files rather than a third-party website kind of thing, right? For example, whenever you are, downloading that PDF reader kind of thing, so instead of from a third party, you can just go to that, whatever that Adobe or whatever it is. I'm just giving an example, not promoting those guys. You can just go to that Adobe and download that Adobe Reader, and you can make use of it. So instead of that, like if you the moment you go and search for a PDF reader, you will be getting n number of websites, right? So if at all, if you are downloading any of these PDF readers from other website, there are chances. So try to avoid that thing. You should visit the legitimate website to download any of those kind of things. So these are the some observations or suggestions we should follow while we are using internet as well as desktop kind of thing. Scan the download files with the updated antivirus software before using it. You will be receiving n number of mails from the organization as part of your profession. So like you will be receiving some of these you will be receiving some of these, some of the files, and you may be downloading those things. It is our responsibility. Download that file, scan it properly. After that, you should open. uh, Downloading and opening a file, please don't do that. Download the file, scan it. If you right click on the file, you will be getting an options, scan the file for viruses kind of thing, right? If you just right click on the user right click on the file, keep the cursor and right click, and you will be getting the options. And you just scan that file before you open. And after that, like if it is found like there are no malicious activities, then you can open that file. Otherwise, nowadays, if those people are there, most of the phishing attacks kind of thing, it will happen like that. In recently, we have seen that, you will be getting, yesterday I got a mail saying like, CDAC has updated its security policy to obey that, terms and conditions. Kindly click on that link and submit your opinion, right? That is the link I got it. So I know that, like, of course, like CDAC will update the security policy, but I know like how the mail will come, right? So because if you follow that kind of thing, from where the mail is originated kind of thing, if you follow that, then you won't then you won't click on that. So you just select that mail and delete that. So that is the kind of thing which which we have to do it from. Who is the sender of the email ID, where that email is originated. So those things you have to observe. So before you download any file, or before download any attachment, which is there as part of the mail, right? So these things you have to check before downloading or opening the file, so that you will be secure enough to safeguard that system and resources, and install and properly configure a software firewall to protect against malicious traffic. So which is very very important, which is another layer of protection from the external attacks, or from the external resource attacks kind of thing. So this firewall will help you, external attacks onto your respective system, right? uh, 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 as the basic this firewall comes along with your operating system. By default, the firewall will be enabled. But if you have an antivirus on your respective system, so that antivirus will stop this firewall, and automatically whatever the antivirus you are having, that antivirus will function, right? If you have a good antivirus, that antivirus firewall will, you know, protect your system. But if you don't have a if you don't have, you know, antivirus, so it will better to use the systems, you know, the system firewall, so that it will protect you from the external attacks.